In the end, that's what this election is about. Do we participate in a politics of cynicism, or do we participate in a politics of hope? It's the hope of slaves sitting around a fire singing freedom songs, the hope of immigrants setting out for distant shores, the hope of a young naval lieutenant bravely patrolling the Mekong Delta, the hope of a mill worker's son who dares to defy the odds, the hope of a skinny kid with a funny name who believes that America has a place for him too.
Wow. Amazing to look back at that night in Boston. I remember it well from the convention floor, July of 2004. And that was when Barack Obama emerged on the political scene in a national way. He gave a rousing speech that helped propel the first-term senator all the way to the White House just 4 years later. And this convention has already seen some big moments. Which ones will be memorable at this point is anybody's guess. But clearly, First Lady Michelle Obama had a very strong impact when she came out. She gave a solid speech that was very well received in the hall and outside of the hall. Senator Bernie Sanders also had a very strong moment, his authenticity shining through. He has clearly connected with people as part of this whole journey. And last night, former President Bill Clinton spoke about his wife in very tender terms and sort of took us on a journey through their life. Some would say some pieces were missing. But Bill Clinton getting some pretty high marks for his comments last night as well. So what happens tonight? Joining me now, Mercedes Schlapp, GOP strategist and former spokeswoman for President George W. Bush, and Leslie Marshall, Fox News contributor and syndicated radio talk show host of The Leslie Marshall Show. Good to have both of you
with us today.
You know, President Obama has to be sort of feeling this moment. You know, where does he go next? He will be leaving the White House in January. He really appears to be focusing so much on his legacy now. We're hearing that he's basically cleared his schedule for October, that he very much wants to be out there on the campaign trail. And there's been a lot of discussion over the years that the Clintons and the Obamas really don't get along that well. So what do you think we're going to see tonight, Leslie?
I think we're going to see tonight what actually she has done in the past for him, what her husband has done in the past for him, which is to put the party first, even if you may not love the person. You share the politics, you share the values and the vision for America's future, and he certainly wants a Democrat to take over the White House because that would be part of his legacy as well. It would not bode favorably upon him if a Republican were to take his place in the Oval Office.
If Donald Trump gets in, he's going to try to undo
health
care, going to try to undo the Iran deal, and that's, of course, what your side would like to see. I wonder how hard, and we were talking about this earlier, how hard he's going to go after Donald Trump. My guess is that he's really going to let him have it.
Oh, I agree. I think that it's one of his arguments that he can make, that Obama can make going after Donald Trump, basically saying how he would be damaging towards America and reversing the liberal agenda that Obama has pushed through. He can make the argument for you know, he's going to be entering into a crowd of people who adore him, who adore his family. They don't like Clinton so much. I mean, you have a president with a 56% approval rating. That is high for a second-term president. So he wants to make sure that he's able to kind of rub off of Hillary Clinton and say, you know, she'll carry the legacy for me in the next term. However, she comes with a lot of baggage. She comes with a lot of history, a lot of scandal. That's going to be a hard sell, I think, for the general American public that have negative views of Hillary Clinton.
Which is precisely why, Leslie, I think what he's going to do is say the other guy is not an option. I think that's the easier argument for him to make than to talk about why, you know, because Hillary hasn't really presented a, you know, here's my vision. A Hillary Clinton presidency is going to be so great. It's going to look like this. She hasn't really done that.
Well, I would argue that she at least has had some specific plans and policy ideas for the future compared to Donald Trump. However,
but if you ask a normal person on the street, what's her presidency going to be like?
And by the way, Hillary, if you're watching, listen to Martha. That's a very good idea for
you got to be able to have people roll it off their tongue.
Look, we know that, you know, Senator Sanders has a lot of things that he wants in his supporters, okay? She's got 9 out of 10 of those. But it does come down to, because when we look historically at the elections, the Democrats are going to go for Democrat, Republicans for Republican. It is that independent voter, that centrist, that moderate. So I think he needs to clearly make it out, look, I have this job, and the next person who has this job, here are the challenges, this is what we need to do, and if this is what our platform is, this is your candidate.
And lately, the independents, double digits in favor of Donald Trump. So it is a matter of seeing where Hillary Clinton can gain the independents, because here's the deal. The Americans are feeling scared. They're feeling anxious. There's not the job creation, Leslie. They don't want a third-term Obama. And what is Hillary Clinton offering? Much of the same thing. And I think that's why there's a need for that type of change, and why Donald Trump is being effective.
I don't know, though. The 56 approval rating, like you said, 56% approval rating right now at this point
For the
in the presidency.
right. But
You
Hillary
said they
doesn't
don't
share that.
You
All right,
said
we gotta
they don't
go.
want
They
to
like him, but they don't like his policies.
I think
there you
56
go.
is a third term.
His numbers may have gone up because everybody seems to dislike these two so much. I mean, their unfavorables are so high. I think it makes people go, not so bad. So we'll see. Thanks, ladies. Good to see you both.
Thank you.